The Migrating Warblers. The yellow warbler would often claim that she was fine until she hit Brownsville. Then, wham, she'd tell her friends. I don't know if it's the air or what, but whenever we pass it on our migration, I have to stop and puke my guts out. That she does, her husband would chuckle. An hour or two's rest is all I need, but isn't it strange? Not Almeida or Bayview or Indian Lake, but Brownsville every time. The birds she was talking to would try to sound sympathetic, or, at the very least, interested. They'd say, or, Brownsville, I think I have a cousin there. From the southern tip of Texas, the couple would fly over Mexico, and then into Central America. My family's been wintering in Guatemala for as long as I can remember, the warbler would explain. Every year, like clockwork, here we come by the tens of thousands. But do you think any of those Spanish-speaking birds have bothered learning English? Not on your life. It's really horrible, her husband would say. Well, funny, too, his wife would insist. Horrible and funny. Like one time, I asked this little Guatemalan bird, I said, ¿Dónde estás las grandes moscas de cabeza? Here her listeners would cock their heads, confused and more than a little impressed. Wait a second, you speak that stuff? Oh, I've picked some up, the warbler would say in that offhand way of hers. I mean, really, what choice do I have? I guess I'm a pretty quick study. At least I've been told I am. She's terrific with languages, her husband would boast. And his wife would raise a wing in protest. Well, not always. In this particular case, for instance, I thought I'd asked where all the big horseflies were. A reasonable question, only instead of caballo, which is horse, I said cabeza. So what I really asked was, where are all the big head flies? Thinking that this was the end of the story, her listeners would quake with polite laughter. Head flies, oh, that's rich. But no, wait, the warbler would say. So the Guatemalan bird makes a motion for me to follow him through the thicket. I do, and there in this field are like 300 heads rotting in the afternoon sun. Each one with about 50 flies on it, and I mean huge, the size of acorns, every one of them. Oh my God, the listeners would say. Rotting heads with flies on them? Oh, they weren't bird heads, the warbler would reassure them. These belong to humans, or used to anyway. Flesh bubbling off, hair all tangled with bits of goo in it. I don't know what they'd done with the bodies, burned them maybe. Then they used the heads to make a wall. Actually, it was more like a counter, her husband would say.
Created using Powtoon.